Record. I did it. I'm so proud of myself.
Good job.
Thank you. Jordan, thank you so much. This is so exciting. I have seen the first episode of Gastronauts. Oh, what a
Delight.
delight. I just smiled ear to ear the entire episode. It's
I
so
love to
much
hear that.
fun. And look, Brennan, Izzy, and Oscar, they're great. You carried the show. Like it's I
Nice.
a really, really beautiful work hosting. I know you're not just host, you are creative producer on the show. I guess the first question is, what does that mean?
And I had the same question, so I'm glad you asked. Basically, just like all of the meetings leading up to the show where we talked about anything that you see on the show itself, I was involved in those meetings, kind of helping guide the look, the vibe, the casting, things like that. And I know when they brought me on, they were kind of like, "You're the only person who has like food media experience, so we need help," which was, it made me feel very, very wanted, which was nice.
Yeah, I mean, very clear, like such a different direction for Dropout. I mean, the whole feel of the show is very different. I mean, we're off tripods, like we're the people are running around with cameras
Yes.
as you have to do in a cooking show.
Yeah.
It's really exciting and really cool. I do. This is so stupid, but I'm getting to talk to you. I just want to thank you personally. I didn't know the chimichanga was a thing until you posted about it because only time I've ever been to Chuy's, I got a bean and cheese burrito because I used to not eat meat and I never explored the menu after I started eating meat. Is there anything that rivals the chimichanga in this season of Gastronauts?
Oh yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that. I was really prepared after reading so many interviews with like Padma Lakshmi and Tom Colicchio and people who have hosted food shows being like, you get the food, it's all cold. The textures are different than what they're intended to be. You have to pretend like that's not the case because that's not the chef's fault. It's all because you have to do glamour shots and all these things. So I was really braced for that. Gastronauts was such an unbelievably well-oiled machine thanks to every single person that worked on it. I've never been on a set like that before. And everything I ate was hot when I ate it. I couldn't believe it.
That's I mean, amazing. It probably really helps, like at least for the first episode, they put lids on things for at least the beginning. How what's it? Are you convinced now? Heavier food is better.
Yes and no. I really think it depends on the case. I think for Brennan would eat something that tasted worse to him if it was heavier. And I don't know if I'm a believer in that yet, but I do think heavy food can be delicious.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think I also I find it I understand what Brennan says when he says like good food versus bad food in terms of like aesthetics or like you go to a fine dining restaurant, you eat your tiny little plates, but like I would argue the chimichanga, good food, even though it is very heavy and very big and probably classically bad food. Have you had that chat with Brennan of just like, hey, it's good. Your cheeseburger milkshake is good.
Yes, I've definitely had this talk with him where it's like, I also think fine dining for the most part is a joke. I think to take food, which is something that literally everyone needs to survive, and something that all cultures have, and make it an elitist kind of like white Eurocentric thing is so ridiculous and stupid that I think that now the fact that we look at that as good food and like, a taco from a taco truck as bad food it's backwards. It's so backwards. And I think that most of the more affordable food I have is so much more delicious than most of the expensive food I've had. So I think there needs to be a mental shift. And I think that good food needs to be relabeled as like expensive food or fancy food because most of it is not good.
Yeah, that's super fair. I think do you see like I've seen obviously the trailer, the first episode. Do you see Gastronauts helping push us in that direction? Obviously, the first episode very influential for what is good and bad. You're getting judges that I don't want to say don't have sophisticated palates because that feels mean, but Oscar had never had like flavored butter before. By the way, huge merch opportunity. I feel like there of you're gay and you've never had flavored butter. Like that feels like put it on
Gay
the
people are
board.
eating flavored butter. I don't know
Yeah.
what's wrong with Oscar, but my fiance and I regularly are eating flavored butter. So Oscar needs to like figure that out and get like a course correction because that's wrong. But yeah, I would like to think so. We have so many chefs from so many different culinary backgrounds, personal backgrounds, professional backgrounds. You really see a wide variety of food and all different types of ingredients, all different types of challenges. And I think so many of these challenges are so wild that it really evens the playing field. It kind of doesn't matter if you work in a fine dining restaurant, because how many times have you had to make an action figure that's edible at your fine dining restaurant? You probably haven't. So you're in the exact same place that like the food influencer is in.
Yeah. Obviously, without getting into any of the like further down the line challenges, are there any folks that jump out to you as like, oh, I can't wait for people to see this. I can't wait for people to experience. I know like Iffy has the horse bag. Like we saw that in the trailer, but like, is there anyone else like just like you got the locked and loaded?
So that episode is particularly wild. And Lily has a challenge that is so disgusting that when she was like, I think this is what these are my challenge pitches, I was like, these are nasty. Don't pitch these. I don't want to eat these. Don't do that. Like, why would you do that to me? We're best friends. Like, set me up for success on my own show. Like, when I come on Dirty Laundry and be funny, that's I'm setting you up for success. Do the same to me. And she was like, no, I'm doing these nasty challenges. And so she submitted them. Of course, everyone on the team was like, let's take the nastiest one. And I was like, okay, like I feel bad for me. I feel bad for these chefs. And it ended up being some of the most delicious food I had the entire season. So I really like literally had to eat my words and apologize to her because her disgusting mind created something beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, I'm curious how much of that then is obviously because we hear the contestants say like, I want the heaviest food, and then there is a bit more of a polish on what the actual challenge is. Are you putting that spin on it of like, all right, it's heaviest, but like this is what we mean by it, or like action figure, we want articulating joints.
Yeah, we wanted to be really clear on what the parameters were because that's one of my big pet peeves too in doing anything is like not knowing what the actual rules are. I really like clear rules. So I think that is helpful for the chefs to be like, these challenges are kind of vague, but these are the points you know you have to hit. And I think that really lets people run wild with creativity when they have like something small to focus on.
Yeah, I think like, obviously you saw that very much in that first episode. I'm sure it just gets better. And I will say, I've talked to a lot of people at Dropout, and they have described making Gastronauts the same way that they talked about making VIP, and that it felt like they were making something really special. And it's the only two shows I've ever heard people talk about in that regard. How does it feel to be, I mean, a part of that, that like the people at Dropout are like, hey, this one's different, this one's special.
It feels really exciting because all of their shows are so good and everyone that works at Dropout is so talented. And obviously, it feels incredible to be compared to VIP. I mean, I love Vic. Vic is a good friend and someone that I just think is so funny and so talented. So to be spoken about in that same sentence is so nice and flattering. And I'm happy that people got to work on something that they felt like was a pleasant experience because that was something that was really important to me is for everyone to feel good. Everyone from the chefs to the PAs to the catering company to like whoever. I wanted everyone to try to have a nice experience.
Yeah. This last thing, obviously we got some really cool prizes. I guess I'm not really entirely sure what they are. Did you get to take anything home from set or prizes, anything that you're living off of?
No, and that feels kind of messed up. And I'm going to talk to Sam about that. I didn't bring home anything. I feel like I should have taken a pot or something to have. But in my mind, I'm just telling myself, well, we'll need all of that stuff so we can have 400 more seasons of Gastronauts. So
Exactly.
I'll let it live there for now. But yeah, if we don't get a second season, I'm going to be like, excuse me, I'm coming to pick up all those things.
That just seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Jordan, thank you so much. This is such a delight. I can't wait for more Gastronauts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Jordans love Jordans. That's what's
You
going on
know,
here.
it's a Jordan world and we're all just living in it. So I appreciate this interview and all your thoughtful questions.
Thank you.